Hello, hello, my friends. Another dedicated candle review for you today. We're going to be talking about Caramel Sundays Bones. I did decide to go ahead and switch up the filming location. We moved outside. I figured that this was an appropriate type of setup for this candle review. Hopefully, my microphone is cutting out the whirring of the air conditioning unit outside because here in Arizona it is still a beautiful 102 degrees at 7:15 in the evening when I am filming this. But it's all right. It's a dry heat and the sun is not baking on me. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and talk about this Bones fragrance because I have a feeling that a lot of people are very intrigued by this. This is Caramel Sunday's attempt, I feel like, to go a little bit more conceptual with their Halloween fragrances. We know Caramel Sundays can nail gourmand fragrances like nobody's business. The spicy fruits, yes. But I feel like this release, because they are throwing in some Halloween candles or Halloween themed candles here, they're trying to embrace something that's maybe a little bit outside of their box. And I'm going to tell you, this is the only fragrance I feel like I picked up. No, I picked up the Goblin Grounds, but in terms of the fragrances that seem a little bit kind of like out of their normal wheelhouse. I know that they have what is it, the Monster House. I did not purchase that one mainly because it was like sugar cookie and patchouli, and that just didn't really appeal to me. This was the one that definitely intrigued me the most, mainly when I read off the fragrance notes, you will see why. Now, this fragrance is coming in a 2-wick format as well as a 4-wick format. I know for sure on the candles. Obviously, this one that I am reviewing is the 2-wick. This will be $34 this Sunday, August 23rd, 7 p.m. I feel like we have all memorized that by now. And of course, make sure you are signed up for those text alerts. So let's talk about the fragrance notes on Bones. Top notes: crisp apple, sweet cream, vanilla bean. Mid notes: Palo Santo, fir needles, evergreen, and saffron. Base notes of moss, patchouli, and soft woods. So, of course, I love a combination of apple with any kind of like outdoorsy atmospheric vibe. And so I most definitely was intrigued by this one. I am also usually a lover of Palo Santo. I do really like that type of woody resinous note. Palo Santo can come across a little bit woody, resinous to me. It's not as sweet or sappy as maybe like the wood on, say, a fir tree, that you'll find in the like in the wintertime. Palo Santo is actually a wood that I think is around actually this area of the country that I live in. I also think that it's pretty popular in Mexico. I think that it's a wood that is used for a lot of indigenous like uh, ritual practices and whatnot. A lot of people like to use it for, if they are doing cleansing practices or whatnot. Um, but it has kind of like a sweet smokiness to it. I've always loved Palo Santo as a fragrance note. I really, really do. So what does my nose detect here? Okay, so this one is kind of it's kind of interesting because we've talked about how fragrance notes are layered, and this one to me on cold, what I smelled at first was definitely the crisp apple. It's definitely the same apple note that they use in their crisp country apple. If you have Oat Orchard or Nutty Little Nightmare, it is that same apple note. But there's kind of a little bit of like a creaminess going on, which would make sense. They say there's sweet cream and vanilla bean in the top. However, the more you stick your nose in it, and I'm going to tell you that the longer that you burn this candle, the middle and the base notes actually start to come out more, and I find that the apple really, really takes a back seat. Is it detectable? A little bit. It again kind of lends some sweetness to this fragrance, but I will tell you that particularly last night, I'm going to tell you this is my third burn. First burn, I really got a lot of that apple, like kind of like that creamy apple type of vibe. Not the same as Oat Orchard. It was a different fragrance. but I felt like the apple note was definitely more prominent and very balanced with a lot of the woody notes that were coming out. And I will tell you, at first, I didn't really smell a whole lot of the Palo Santo. I think I was getting more of like an evergreen, probably some of the saffron, and then the base notes of like a soft woods. Patchouli here, you guys, the way that I think Caramel Sundays does patchouli, they don't go wildly heavy with it. This is not a patchouli fragrance that you typically get, say, from like Kringle. Kringle has a love affair with patchouli and cedar, which to my nose is just way too much. I think the patchouli in here is trying to give it a little bit of perfuminess, but this is not a perfumey candle. This to me is it's kind of I would say this is a good fragrance for those of you who love woody scents. And here's the thing. Last night when I was burning this candle, I definitely started to smell the Palo Santo. I got Palo Santo. It was definitely more of like a woody fragrance. Now the notes of like fir needles and evergreen, this to me is still not very much like a tree fragrance. Like, you don't worry about this being like Christmas tree smelling. This doesn't smell like a Christmas tree to me. It's not even near the same fragrance. I think if those of you who shop across brands, this is not Haunted Hallows from Kringle. That is like a definitely got more of their I almost said notorious, but like their very famous fir note mixed with like a very deep, almost fermented apple. This is not the same fragrance at all. So if you're concerned about that, I'm going to tell you they are completely different fragrances, because a lot of people say that that one almost reminds them of like a Christmas fragrance. That's not what this is at all. This is definitely, I would categorize this as like a woody fragrance with a little bit of like sweet, crisp apple. It's not like a deep, um, it's not like a baking apple or anything like that. It's very much a crisp apple. I really like this fragrance. There's, again, a little bit of, it's not super green. I wouldn't say that this is as like fresh and outdoorsy as their fragrances like Always Autumn or their Autumn Leaves. This is, again, just a little bit more of like, again, it's Palo Santo, which Palo Santo is a little bit more of like a smoky type of fragrance. It's woody. Excuse me, I'm out here with all of the grass and allergens here, so I'm sure my throat's going to get dry. But there's a little bit of sweetness in here as well, like I said, that is coming from that crisp apple, and a slight amount of creaminess coming from the top notes of sweet cream vanilla bean. I feel like if you have tried Nutty Little Nightmare, you're going to like this one. If you like kind of that balance of something kind of like woody and savory. Now that has a peanut note in it, so it's a little bit more gourmand. But if you like that balance of something that's kind of woody with the crisp apple, this one is definitely going to be for you. I will tell you on cold, you guys, this was my favorite of all of the new fragrances. Now Acorn Avenue is also, I love that one, but that is a returning fragrance. Um, I would think by the time that the launch happens on Sunday, I'll try to make sure and go through and give you guys a ranking like after burning of like my least favorite to favorite. There's not a bad one. I'm going to tell you that. There's not any that are bad. But this one's good. All right, so that's the overall fragrance, what I am smelling. Just know, you guys, if you order this and you get it in, if you initially just smell a lot of apple, stick your nose in it again, and then wait until you light it, to really come to an opinion, because these wood notes really come out when you light it. Now we're going to talk about the performance. Clearly you can see that I've actually burned this one the most of all of the candles that I have reviewed so far. And here's the thing we're going to talk about. First burn, decently strong. I will tell you that the first two burns, I did burn this candle in my master bedroom. Typically, you guys, with these 2-wick candles, I usually always start them in my master bedroom, just because I'm trying to get an idea of what the fragrance smells like when it is warm, once a flame has been taken to it. And truthfully, very few 2-wick candles perform super, super well. Like, I'm going to smell them really strong out in my living room. So I feel like on the first burn, I'm wanting to smell it. And I feel like it's probably more likely that I'm going to smell a candle in a closed concept bedroom as opposed to a large open concept 20-foot ceiling living room, right? That just kind of makes sense. I do burn my candles in hurricanes. You guys know that. So I'm going to tell you, first burn, smelled it pretty good. I would say it was probably like between like a 6 and a 7 in the closed concept of my bedroom. Last night, same type of thing. I would say probably 6 to 7. But it's funny. I told you guys, first burn, I smelled more of that creamy apple type of vibe. Last night, I definitely smelled more of the woody aspects of it. But I am going to tell you, tonight I tried burning it out in my open concept, and I could not smell it at all in the open concept. And then when I moved it into my bedroom, I, this one, for whatever reason tonight, it's having a little bit of a harder time throwing. Like I can smell it, but it's not as strong as it was. Now, we all know soy wax can be quirky. Sometimes it does this, particularly it's funny. So I always find when it's in this range, it always seems to be in this little like window right here when for whatever reason on these 2 wicks, the fragrances want to just completely disappear for me. And I don't know why that is, but it just seems to be how it is. So I am going to say this fragrance, I would say that if this sounds like it's up your alley and you have a large open concept, you're going to want to get this in a 4-wick. A 2-wick for this is not going to work in an open space. If you have a small space, if you are somebody who maybe wants a woody fragrance to be a complementary scent, say maybe with oat orchard or maybe with crisp country apple. Hold on a second, you guys. I need to get a sip of water because I can feel my throat getting dry. Um, I would suggest then that you could probably keep this in a 2-wick and plan to burn it, like I said, like in like a smaller concept space. Um, tonight I am burning it with Oat Orchard. Oat Orchard is one of the rare 2-wick candles that is pretty strong for me out in the open concept. So I have Oat Orchard going out in my living room, and then I have Bones in my bedroom, and it's a beautiful combination. But again, this Bones tonight is not super, super strong. But I would also say that if you're somebody who does not like super woody fragrances, you might want to skip out on this one. And by woody, you guys, this again, I want to make it very clear. This is not woody like a cedar wood or like walking into a wood workshop. The best like wood comparison that I can give is if you have already purchased like Nutty Little Nightmare, what was it, like pistachio peanut brittle. They have this what do they call it, like woody vanilla note that's in there. That's what this kind of reminds me of, but it's a little bit different. I know that it's not the woody vanilla because that mixed with peanut doesn't hit my nose right, but for some reason in this candle it works. So yeah, again, I find this to be a really good combination with Oat Orchard, or if you wanted to get crisp country apple and burn them with each other. If you want more sweetness of the apple mixed with the woody notes, those would be my suggestions. And again, if you want more woodiness, if you want that to be like your centerpiece and focal point, get this in a 4-wick, but only if you're going to be in like an open concept. And I would say that if it's going to be in a closed concept, oh my, there's some random bug flying around. If it's going to be in a closed concept, then I would say get the 2-wick, because if you're somebody who might be overpowered by like more woody scents, you probably wouldn't want this in a 4-wick. As for me, you guys, I'm actually going to continue to burn this because I am not entirely sure yet if this is one that I want in a 4-wick or if I want to keep this as a 2-wick as a complementary scent. I've got a couple more days to make that decision. Right now, I'm still leaning towards getting this in a 4-wick just because I do like Palo Santo and I think this is done very, very well. I think that I'm just hitting kind of a funny spot in the burn right now. So let me know in the comment section down below if this one is on your wish list. What are you thinking? Do you like Palo Santo scents? If you are familiar with the Palo Santo, how would you describe it? I feel like everybody's input in the comments oftentimes helps other people with their decision making. But yeah, let me know. So again, if you found this review helpful, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Consider subscribing to my channel if you are new. Thank you very much for having patience with me this week, you guys, as I'm trying to get a lot of like initial post burn thoughts together on these fragrances. Definitely trying to make sure that you guys have the information you need to try to put together your lists for Sunday, because I know a lot of us are trying to make it all squeeze into a budget. And it looks like this week I will also have some other content. I will have some Kringle Boo Crew to cover for all of you guys. All right, you guys, thanks for staying tuned into this super long video. Do want to say thank you very, very much. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.